Hello, friends. This is Dr. John World Peace JD, and it is November the 9th, 2021. And this is going to be the introductory uh, lecture, if you will, to World Peace Teaching Peace. .com. I'm going to try to list these videos on that site. Not try, I'm going to do that. I'm going to start this video out as number 10,001, 10001. And I've tried all kinds of ways to figure out how to kind of keep things in order and lecture on one topic and then another and keep the numbers right, and it's just too much, it's just too big a project because I'm going to skip around. So I'm just going to start with this 10,001, and then that'll be on YouTube, and then a summary or a statement of what's going to be on this tape, and probably a little bit more information on the website. And then I will at some point probably make a subcategory so you can sort by peace or environment or politics or religion or whatever. So let's begin with a global view of what's going on here. My signature statement is, how can we increase the level of peace in the world human society if we don't include everyone, all religions, all races, all governments, nations, and all genders in our vision of peace? And the answer is, we cannot. If we don't include everybody, if we're an exclusive world peace organization, entity, then if you don't include everybody, you're elitist and you're exclusionary. And world peace is democratic and all-inclusive. Now that says just about everything, because people in the world human society like to clan up. A lot of people that have no personal ego or don't feel they do, they attach themselves to a religion and say, hey, I'm a Christian, or I'm an American, and you're not. And the world's not going to function like that any longer. We either have to look at one world human society and move forward, or we're just not going to last. The conflict that's going on everywhere in the world, the problems are so great. People are so confused, and social media has, I always thought social media would be the greatest thing in the world because we could have this open conversation and nobody could tell a lie. Well, that's really not what happened. What's happened is the money in the world has paid psychiatrists and such to script things to cause chaos, mostly for their benefit, but in some cases just to create chaos. So there's so much fake news, lies, repeated in 1,000 different ways, 1,000,000 times with money. And it takes people that don't really have the ability to distinguish truth and falsity, and it manipulates their mind. That's how the Republicans run things in America. Republicans spend so much money advertising and convincing people who are traditional Democrats, people of color, women who are subordinated throughout the world, religions, and so forth. The Republicans have enough money to convert people who are really Democrats but don't think they're Democrats because their parents and grandparents voted Republican, and they manipulate their minds. If they didn't do that, there would be no Republican Party because there's not as many Republicans as there are Democrats in reality. Lots of Democrats saying they're Republicans without even thinking about it. Women are subordinated throughout the world, definitely in America, definitely second-class citizens in the Republican Party. What are they doing in there? These women go to church, the Western world, where God said, Eve is to serve your husband. You're to serve your husband because you convinced him to taste the apple, and you're evil. Little girls in the 3 and 4-year-old category hear that. That's one of the main teachings of Christianity. If I were a young girl of any age and I heard that, I would walk out. That is total nonsense. That's what I'm talking about. Democrats. Women ought to all be Democrats, but they vote Republican. They think they're Republicans. They don't get it. So, at any rate, I've been John World Peace since 1988. I came into this life knowing I had some kind of global agenda, but it took me 20, 30 years to understand what that meant, and it's taken me into 73 before I understood what I'm doing. I'm really kind of amazed at all the things I have discovered about the nature of peace and the lack of it in the world human society. There's no other person on the planet that is my peer. There's people that are as smart as I am, but most of them are one-trick ponies. They're a genius in engineering, or they're a genius in teaching, or they're a genius in one thing or another. But I'm the only one that has the experience and the education in the 6 major areas regarding increasing the peace in the world. What are they? Governments, the courts of law, religions, universities, education. Those are 4. Global corporations that have more power over more people, in a lot of cases small governments, states, counties, etc. And social media. Religion, government, the law, education, uh, global corporations, and social media. Those 6 areas of the world human society control the level of peace in the world human society. We've seen all kinds of things recently about people trying to get something accomplished, and it goes nowhere. People hate peace, they hate world peace, and they hate anybody that advocates it. If that's not true, then why was Martin Luther King assassinated, Gandhi assassinated, Jesus crucified, Mandela put in jail for, I don't remember, 50 years, whatever? Anybody who's advocating change for the better is subject to being executed. Why? Why do people hate peace? It's very simple. More than peace, they hate change. And to increase the level of peace in the world, you've got to embrace change. And people hate change more than anything else. They work hard for what they have, and they don't want any change to take any of it. Doesn't matter if the whole world burns down. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if we kill off every animal on the planet. Doesn't matter. We just don't want change. So, that's the nature of what I do. I have education and experience in all those areas: religion, government, politics, racism, being raised in the South, studying it, studying the Civil War. I have 3 degrees. It took 10 years to earn at the University of Houston. I understand social media, and I've been in business 50 years. So I understand global corporations. What goes on in a small business goes on in global corporations. It's just bigger numbers. But you have to sell things, you have to count for what you've sold, the money you've taken in, and you have to produce what you're selling. So that means I have no peers. There's nobody out there. If anybody thinks they're ready to take on the world, if you will, well, let's debate. Let's have a debate on the internet. 30 years I've been Dr. John World Peace. Changed my name actually 33 years ago. Nobody's challenged me because they can't. And that goes for a lot of areas of world peace. I have been studying this a long time. Most of what I have to say, people don't even think about. They've never thought about. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to, per video, work on one a particular area every night. I have a couple dozen books. JohnWorldPeace.com is my flagship website. I've got 100 books published with Amazon, and I'm going to refer to those books as I have these little communications. So I've got the books, and now I've got to set up a curriculum. Why? Because there is no university in the world that offers a degree, bachelor or master's, much less a PhD, in peace studies. They don't teach it. They won't teach it. I've sent out emails and letters trying to reach out to these chancellors and presidents, and they no response. Why is that? Real simple. Every university is run by a board of directors, and then they have a chancellor or president, just like you have a CEO of a corporation and a board in a corporation. You got a board in the university. And if you start talking about, and these people are there to further the interests of the university, bring in money, keep it functioning. But they have personal opinions. And so when you start talking about peace, you have to get to the bottom of racism and gender inequality and Christianity versus Muslim and Buddhist and such. And so as soon as you start teaching a course in peace, you have a division, probably right down the middle, of the board of directors, and that filtrates down into the professors. And so just the thought of starting to teach peace will create a civil war within any university. So the curriculum has got to come from me. Nobody else has done it, and we have to do it. How do you expect to increase the peace if you don't teach peace? How do you expect all this division and such to stop if you don't teach peace? So people understand what they're doing. In many cases, just a knee-jerk reaction. This is the way I've always been. Never thought about it. I'll give you a prime example. Christians go to church on Sunday for an hour or two, worship Jesus. What was Jesus' message? Love one another. What is that message? It is an all-inclusive, democratic, global message. And let me tell you what, that is a liberal message. A lot of people don't even know what liberal is. They just think because Trump's against it, they're against it. A liberal person believes in helping each other, doing unto others, love one another. That's what Jesus teaches. And people go to church and they're saved and they get baptized and they sing hallelujah to Jesus Christ on Sunday morning. After lunch on Sunday, they're Trumpies. And what does Trump say? The radical left is killing us all. And these good, saved Christians all of a sudden, for all but their 2 or 3 hours a week, become, some of them, the Trumpites, the Republicans, become liberal haters. They spout a hate for Jesus message. And the average person doesn't even get it. The people that follow Donald Trump and these false preachers, they don't get it. Because they don't even know what liberal means. Liberal means Jesus Christ. And when Trump curses the radical left, he is cursing Jesus. Now that's the problem we have, folks. It's a lack of communication and understanding, and Christians don't want to hear this, but it only takes a few minutes to figure it out. They say they're saved, they do in Jesus' will, loving one another, and yet they turn on Fox News and Trump, and they hate the liberal left, the radical left, the communist left, the socialist left. It's a major disconnect. It's a major cause of the peace in the world not being able to increase. All right, I'm going to try to keep these little conversations at about 20-25 minutes, and we're already at 20 minutes. So I'm going to close it off here, and thank you for your consideration.